Let's see. Is everything working? Should be working. We start here too. Give me a second, guys. Okay, here it is working. Cool. Cool, we are live. So let's see the sound. Give me a second, guys. Okay, we've got sound. So we can proceed. Here is good, here is good. Alright, guys, so welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hitech. And on these live streams, I talk about what is happening today in the cryptocurrency market, what I think about it regarding 11 years of my experience. And in between the lines, I will explain you what Hitech meme coin is and why you might be interested. So Jesus is king, and let's go. Let's switch the screens. And if you guys have any questions, of course, ask them in the live chat. And yeah, probably I will be able to give you some decent insight into whatever is of your interest. So as you see, today we are having quite a good day. When we look at the altcoin market specifically, Bitcoin doesn't really do anything extraordinary, but many altcoins have pumped somewhat visibly, as you see here on Crypto Bubbles, like Zen plus 56%, ZK plus 54, Dash plus 49. Quite decent gains, definitely. Unfortunately, I do not trade on any of those coins. Dash I don't trade, ZK I don't trade, Zen I don't trade. None of them I trade. So, but as you see, other ones are doing fairly well too. I think one of my best trades right now as we speak, I have it on Trumpcoin. It's doing quite well, and in my opinion, it definitely has a lot of room to keep going. Right now I have it at plus 31%, almost 32%. And when we switch over to greater time frame, then we will definitely see that if all-time high is the ceiling, there is plenty of room for it to at least try to recover it, right? That will be, if it recovers, that will be 872% in profit. Of course, in case of my trading strategy, a take profit would be taken on the way up. So it's not like I would, let's say, immediately enjoy the whole 872%. Absolutely not. Rian says, can we see WIF, please? You mean dog with hat? But pretty much everything will go up anyway. Now, that's what I expect. It looks like this. So it's been acting pretty choppy. Most of coins are actually acting pretty choppy now. But the good part is after Friday 10th, when we dumped, most of the coins dumped really, really heavy here. How WIF actually, not WIF, how hard it fell down, minus 91 on Binance. So Binance is the most liquid exchange. So that had to be quite painful, especially if you traded it on leverage, then probably it wasn't nice. But that's why I keep telling you guys, avoid trading on leverage, never trade on leverage. That's the worst thing you can do. Avoid futures market, stay on spot. Because you see, even in this case, on every single chart, actually, it's very well visible. The visibility of is very good. If you had it in spot, this market visited minus 91% from here. So in the grand scheme of things, it was like minus 99. Am I right? Let's measure it around that mark, probably. Until here, minus 98%, close to minus 99. And yeah, but regarding this event, if you had it in spot, you just had to wait a little bit for it to recover. And at the very end of the day, it was like there's minus 33 instead of minus 90, right? So that's why, there are certain places that favor right here wins much better. One of those is the spot market, of course. So, you will not hear bad advice on my side here. I'll always tell you what's best for you. And futures market is your demise. It's been so heavily promoted because, exchanges give the best deal for the promoters, for influencers, the best deals if they shield futures market because, of course, exchanges themselves, they make the most money there. But yeah, so literally, let's say the vector of profit of incentive is literally against you if you use it. So don't use it. But yeah, many coins they look exactly like this. They're waving a little bit here after this huge dump since Friday 10th last month because we just started a new month. And by the way, October closed in red, which statistically it was on the lesser side of probabilities, but it did. So maybe, just maybe, that means all of that bullishness that we're supposed to get on October just shifted over to November. As I tend to say, nothing disappears in nature. When you try to create a vacuum, you have to pump out the air, and that air must go into another space for the time being. And exactly, it works literally the same here. So probably it got shifted to November. And when we include into it how big of a sell-off we've seen on Friday 10th, it makes it much more believable. So yeah, this kind of price action after a huge sell-off, believe me or not, but this is actually very good because we are holding the ground. We are slowly but firmly creating a very, concrete floor for a bounce from here. Looks like, those that were to sell already sold, meaning that in the order book on sell side there won't be much resistance for the price to climb up. So yeah, expect huge moves across the whole altcoin market. That's literally what market mechanics mandates. Ryan says, thank you, spot only for me. That's good. That's a very good choice, Ryan. You're one of the you're literally the smarter part of the market. Those that stay with spot, as you probably have already observed, belong to that smarter part of the market because you did not get wiped out on Friday 10th, right? Because this is survival of the fittest. Like literally everything else, there's of course a little bit less bloody let's say form than the real natural selection that animals experience, of course, but nonetheless, it has the same effect, which is if you will not pass your genes on to the next generation, it will be just too bloody poor to have offspring, let's say. So the final effect is literally the same. And yeah, 99% of market participants leave money here. They do not really win. And if you don't believe me, then examine what is going on Hyperliquid. Pretty much every single DEX is very apparent. How big is the percentage of let's say permanent winners is very, very small. It's much smaller than I think anyone expected before DEXs gained popularity. It's like literally around 1%, most of the time below 1%. So you must really know what helps you, what is against you if you want to be successful here. But wins are so big, literally just because of that, right? Just because of that this disproportion of winners against the losers. There is so many losers in here. There's so many people willing to literally give away their money for those that are a little bit slightly more intelligent or slightly more patient, or are willing to do a little bit of homework before they actually make any any bigger moves here. So yeah, as you probably know, I mean, for those that have watched me before, I'm waiting for altcoin season. I'm 100% sure it's going to happen. I don't think market can anyhow shy away from it. It's just literally impossible from a market mechanics standpoint. Capital rotation will have to kick in at some point, and given that we are probably getting closer and closer to something what is called inverse crash of a global economy, because Fed decided to print money without, I mean, regardless of how high inflation goes in US dollar. So that means people and investors will be nervously looking around where to put in their money, just so it does not melt away, right? So at least part of it, the altcoin market will enjoy, and since this market is really very, very small comparing against pretty much everything else, just a little bit of those inflows will give us pumps we have never seen before. So I think literally the best part here from the beginning, counting the whole history of the altcoin market, the best part of it is still ahead of us. Ryan says, I learned my lesson from margin trading long ago. Yeah, that's that's good. That's good. You had that ability, Ryan, to look at yourself in the mirror and admit something is not working here, because most of the people they literally don't possess that skill, right? To admit the error and admit that, okay, what I'm doing is not serving me anyhow, and I must change something, right? That's literally how it has been going from the beginning of times. Since the beginning of times, those that knew how to adjust were surviving, right? So the worst quality of character you can have is if you have it difficult to admit your mistake. If you don't have flexibility of mind, right? Same it has been with with the animal kingdom. Those that were not adapting were just dying off, right? every once in a while there was that big dying event. Like I think it was like every 600 million years or so, where like 99% of species were dying off. Those that maintain the flexibility were able to adjust to new conditions, were continuing, were allowed to continue their existence. So it's kind of the same here, right? If you don't have that self-reflection, flexibility, do not cultivate in yourself that skill, to that capacity of admitting your mistakes, it will not last very long. Ryan says 100x leverage. Really, you were trading on 100x leverage? That's crazy. So you really either believed in yourself, you had a lot of confidence, tons of confidence, or you literally had zero clue what you're doing. Because one of the most important skills when you trade in a highly volatile market is how to recognize what is price action noise and what is not, right? And price action noise is something that makes you extra vulnerable in the market in futures market, whatever type of market where you use leverage, right? The price action noise is your number one enemy, right? So because it gives you very tight area of error to stay in the trade before it costs you, right? Before the loss is realized. So if you don't really know how to distinct price action noise from the real intent of the market, then and you tighten it with leverage, and you tighten it with the leverage 100, which means that you need 100 times less volatility to kick you out of the trade or to get yourself liquidated. You literally cannot succeed. To be honest, you cannot really succeed long term with even times 2 leverage. Maybe even times 1.5 leverage in this market is actually impossible to win. Me, I do not use any sort of futures trading, even X1 or 1X or however you want to call it. Why? Because if I do 1X, let's say shorting, this market pumps quite often plus 100%, so that would get me liquidated. I introduce a possibility of me getting liquidated, which I'm not fine with. Because at some point I can just wake up to a completely empty account. And some argument in the discussion up until recently was that but you can still, for example, do only longing, right? You can just trade with longs on a very small leverage. Well, Friday 10th has shown that even if I was let's say long X1 or 1X, in many cases I would have been wiped out, right? So no, thank you. I rather stay with trading spot that forgives a lot sometimes. Like on Friday 10th, it has forgiven a lot, right? Against those that were using leverage. So yeah, it's very important to collect those very small, points here and there, make a collection of it, and use them to your advantage. You use all of those small arguments of strength, and it does not manifest from one day to another. How it helps you, how it favorites you, but over time, it helps you to get quite countable results. Ryan says, "Not me. I was joking." Oh, okay. Yeah, 100x that. Well, some people do. And some people, especially those that discover leverage for the first time, and they don't really understand how it works. You can find a lot of, let's say, confessions like that on YouTube or on other social media platforms where guys literally so that there is an option of increasing leverage. They checked at 100x, and that every single move gives them huge gains, and without understanding the whole mechanism, they just clicked buy with parameters set so high, and to their surprise, later on they vanished all of their money, right? So yeah, but worry not if whatever I say is disappointing to you. That oh damn, I will not be able to make money on high leverage. Worry not, because nobody is really able to make sustainable gains on leverage, not even neural networks. And I know what I'm saying because I've been competing on multiple platforms in copy trading and profit sharing. And all of those guys that use leverage, even very conservative leverage at times, they all get wiped out. Look, when James Wynn became famous, right? You probably have heard about James Wynn. When that guy was at the peak, here on these live streams, I was saying you will see that guy, he'll get wiped out. Right now, it's all cool and dandy, sunshine and rainbows. That will come to an end, and this guy will get wiped out. Why? Because I have seen it dozens of times. I've seen guys that were doing very well for 1 year, 2 years, close to 3 years straight, and then one day came and they got wiped out. It's like ice skating, literally ice skating. It looks very, very whenever things are going well, but once the time comes to hit the ice, it's very, very painful. And it's a given that ice skater will hit the ice. It's a given. The same as here in leverage trading. It's a given that whoever is using leverage, they will get liquidated. It's not a question is not if, but when. Yeah, Ryan says they don't understand their losses are multiplied too. Yes, there is a very stiff correlation in between what is your potential win and how much you risk with that potential win, because there is a direct correlation between the height of the win and the height of the risk. It's literally it goes like this, right? And here there is a risk axis, and here there is win axis, right? This 45 degrees, 100% proportional correlation. So yeah. And historically speaking, there is not even one famous trader that became a millionaire or became a very wealthy man using leverage, trading his own funds. Not even one. You will not find a one person, historically speaking, that became wealthy and stayed wealthy trading on leverage with their own funds. You can find people that traded others people's money and became wealthy trading on leverage, but then when they were losing, they were not losing their own money. They were losing other people's money, right? So that's a huge difference, huge difference, right? If you trade like that, then yes, then at some point, if you get, let's say, constant inflow of cash, you're, I don't know, very skilled in acquiring capital. At some point, you'll get your golden shot, and that will make you tons of money. And whenever you are losing, you're not losing your own. Then yes, that's a recipe for for a very solid income somewhere there on the horizon. But that's the only option, right? That's the only option when it comes to leverage. Other than that, you must stay on spot. So let's go over the Bitcoin chart. Guys, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't done so. And don't forget that there is actually a way of investing in this YouTube channel in an indirect fashion, indirect manner through High-Tech Meme Coin. You will find the tutorial in the description section of this live stream about how to actually acquire it. And the way it works is that I'm the promoter of this meme coin forever, practically. And whenever somebody wants to advertise on this channel, they will have to first buy this one up from this liquidity pool that you see here. Hence, whoever is invested here will be benefiting from it, right? So let's say if somebody comes to me and says, High-Tech, I want to promote my exchange on your channel, then the only option I'll give him is come here, buy it up, do it from address that is well tagged, and I will just talk about your exchange buying up on my project and supporting my project. And this is how you will gain exposure through my YouTube channel, Rumble channel, Kick channel, Twitch channel. And yeah, at some point it will kick in, right? For now, this channel is really small. My Polish channel is much larger, 10 times larger. It's actually approaching 1,000 subscribers. But that's probably because this one has not been promoted by YouTube for first 1 year and a half. So nearly nobody literally could know about this channel. But recently, because I do live stream in vertical mode, apparently apparently YouTube decided to actually let it be shown, here and there. So now I'm gaining subscribers, and yeah, at some point I will receive offers, some promoting offers, let's say. So yeah, you can literally invest in it here. There are something small, $1, $2, $3, something that is definitely low risk. Why? Because it will still make you money. To be honest, that's what I think. Because this market is in its very, very early stage. We've got 63 holders so far. That's including me, so 62 really, or 61 because you must probably discount the liquidity pool too. So these are very, very early days. So yeah, the title of this live stream is "Should You Trust This Pump?" Yeah, was that the title? Yeah, should you trust this pump? So we have a weekend pump, right? And many crypto influencers, they tell you to do not trust a weekend pump. And yeah, my commentary to it is it's somewhat true, but not always. In special circumstances, in very specific circumstances, you can easily trust weekend pumps. And I think right now we are in these circumstances because after we get a very large sell-off, first of all, it's very likely that market is in such highly oversold state that there is literally nobody to sell anymore, because those that hold the coin, given coin, they have like a very, very long-term outlook, very, very long-term plan related to how they want to monetize on that investment, how they want to benefit from it, or simply those that don't really have it well scheduled, well planned, and they see prices so low, they just refuse to sell it anymore. They say, it rather goes to zero. I'm not selling. Even if it goes to zero, I'm fine with it at this point because I lost already so much that I rather just, I don't know, forget about it. I will not be looking at it for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because it makes pretty much no difference if I sell it right now, right? I will still get peanuts for it against what it used to be when I was buying this asset. So that means even if the volume drops, this is nothing that let's say should be scary for you anymore. Because imagine, for example, you bought a bicycle, like a very, very fancy bicycle, and you are using it for some time, you're riding it for some time, but then you bought yourself a new one, right? A much better one. So you have this old one, which is in a perfect state. You paid X amount for it, but there is no decent seller for it. Like the only people that want to buy it from you, I wanted to say no decent buyer for it, right? I said seller, no decent buyer for it. The only offers you get are way, way below the market value, and you know about it, right? Will you sell it then? If you're not really needy, no, you will let it, I don't know, stay in the garage, let's say, right? And you will wait until someone with a little bit more reasonable offer appears. So the exactly same psychology applies here. At some point, the prices that the market offers are so bad that the holders decide, you know what, I don't care. Let it stay in the garage until someone more reasonable comes, right? So that is why even though it's a weekend and volumes are low, because we just had a huge sell-off, that's expected for the volume to be generally low. Meaning, if there is no sellers anymore, because the prices are so low, nobody wants to really sell. Nobody really wants to sell it. It means the order book on sell side is empty, right? So there is nobody to stop out the price, right? The ladder of offers is not dense, is actually very, very thin, right? Instead of being populated, like this, which poses a resistance for the price to climb up. You will get one offer here, one offer there, for there. So once this offer is defeated, the price will move fast to the next one. The moment this sell offer is defeated, right, is swallowed, the price will move rapidly to the next one, where the next slightly larger resistance is formed, right? Because I mean that offer will be literally that next larger resistance, right? So you will observe a rapid hoops and long hoops of price moving upwards. There's actually a fairly simple mechanism, and after large sell-offs, you can observe it fairly frequently, and I think it's literally one of the best times now. Now is one of the best times to expect that mechanics to be applied, right? So that's why I don't think you should be very, very scared of these pumps that we are getting now here and there. Maybe one thing to be a little bit afraid of is that things will get better. And Jim Cramer has a very, very accurate inverse record. So whenever he says, a given day, something good will happen, something terrible happens. And whenever he says something terrible happens, a new rallies are born. So hopefully he flips, he switches. I don't know, before TradFi starts trading on Monday, because so far, I mean, his last take is that market should recover on Monday. So that would mean probably we will actually go lower, especially on TradFi. But another thing to remember about is that we've been decorrelated from TradFi for the last few days. So TradFi was going up, Bitcoin was doing nothing, right? So we got that the type of decorrelation we usually do not want, but maybe now we'll get the desired one, right? So the one where TradFi drops and we do not drop or even go higher. Where was it? Yeah, very discouraging close. Got to wait until Monday for a bounce, you see. But what a month, you see. So he says he's expecting that bounce will come on Monday. To be perfectly fair, Jim Cramer, he's not always totally wrong. Very occasionally he'll be right. So there is a little bit of hope there too. But like 95%, whatever he says, the opposite will happen, right? So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ryan says always the opposite of what Kramer says. Yeah, Kramer is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, somebody once measured his hit rate and it went up to like 95% of accuracy, which is like beyond anything that whatever kind of system can offer you. So I don't know how that guy does that, but he's a proven one. So yeah, okay, let's go back here to so circumstances in the crypto markets. Overall circumstances they are favoring hugely that we should see a very, very strong recovery in the outcome market. On top of it, I also like this Bitcoin dominance and how it behaves, how it acts. So looks like we are in the midst of printing what I expected from the very beginning, like a rounding move here. A small round heel, which together with this spike here is giving us inverse Adam and Eve formation, which is a bearish formation, of course, in this case. So because we are having a little bit of trouble with printing this uptrend, a continuation of this uptrend. That gives me hope that we will finally start to roll over here. From the very beginning, I said I do not know how it's going to look at the very end, but I'm fairly sure it will roll over, right? The least likely scenario is that we approach 63% here in the same with the same pace. Let's say maintaining is literally the same pace. That will be very, very weird if it happens. Theoretically speaking, everything is possible, but I see that as something very, very improbable. Bitcoin dominance has zero trajectory, meaning that over time it will come down to zero. You like it or not. That's how free market capitalism works. You cannot maintain high dominance forever. Sooner or later, you will have to step down from the first place on the podium and make a room for something better. some coin that will handle the problems that Bitcoin has in a much better in a much better way. So, for example, Bitcoin is not scalable. It's very slow from the very beginning. Just 7 transactions per second. This is not something that you could call a digital cash, like it's written in white paper. I think yesterday was white paper day, right? Bitcoin's white paper. So there it's called digital cash. Something that has 7 transactions per second cannot be called a digital cash. The space is trying to patch it with a Lightning Network, but the problem of Lightning Network is that it's not fully trustless. So, only layer 1 is fully trustless. So yeah, at some point something better will pop up, something better will appear. Ryan says, I have a 135% win rate. Maybe BTCD has stopped. I think it's in the process of topping out here in this small context. I also strongly believe that this local high is the last level of the Bitcoin dominance this high we've seen. We are not going to, I believe we are not going to go back to above 65% of Bitcoin dominance anymore. And naturally, I could be wrong on that, but for the time being, as of now, that's what I believe. We will not go beyond 65% of Bitcoin dominance ever again. That's what I say. And let's see how it ages. From time to time, I will say something outrageous and it will hold on very well. From time to time, I will get things very wrong. That's perfectly fine with me. Remember, I do not trade, based on what I think I see in the charts. I have my systems from it. I let my systems trade and manage my portfolio. And I think you should do too. If you have a strategy, you should program it. I don't know, buy some cheap laptop and let that strategy manage your portfolio. I think that's the best way. To my knowledge, pretty much everyone who makes money in this market, they do it exactly like this. They never trade manually because it's way too easy to get a bad day and change something, in your strategy while, when in reality your strategy has been demonstrating that it's working. It's very easy to doubt it if you stare at charts 24/7 and let yourself expose yourself to the possibility of introducing something new that is completely untested. So I've been in 11 years in this business, so I have learned it the hard way. Fortunately, never overdid it, so that's why I'm still in the game. Because whenever I was introducing something new, it was resulting in huge losses. But I never was stupid enough to, let's say, change the strategy that was trading the greater part of my portfolio, right? So when I was experimenting with some much less significant amounts of capital. But yeah, I would definitely, if I had not, touched anything from the very beginning, I would have been much further. I'll be much further by now. But yeah, I did what I did and it took a lesson learned my lesson from it, and that's that's the only takeaway I have for today, right? From it. So all I can do is advise you the same. Once you have a strategy that you know it works, automate it and let it fly. Do not change anything. Because if it had worked for, let's say, last 10 years, it probably will work fairly well for another 10 years. So yeah. Ryan says we need USDT to break below 3.7 for alt season. So yeah, on my radar, I have it at 407, I think, on my chart. If we break below 407 or 4 around 4%, that will give definitely much more confidence to the altcoin market, probably to algorithms, to analysts. But Bitcoin dominance also plays a role, right? Also plays a role. It also helps to push things further. Once it displays, it prints, a certain, let's say, attitude of the market here, then it increases the odds that the alt season is about to start. And right now, it's looking really good. It's looking very, very promising. It's looking like this local uptrend here is fading. It's losing steam, and we should see some type of a rollover fairly soon. So hold a second. Okay. Ryan says we cannot win without losing. Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you still have the capital to invest, if you have not been overexposing yourself, if you have not been going all in, investing amounts that you cannot afford to lose, you have somewhat steady, let's say, a source of income that allows you to stay in the game and keep trying. That's the most important, right? One good advice I can give you here is definitely not go all in at any given time, even if you think the odds are sky high of you winning the trade. Still never go all in, because more often than not you will get things wrong, right? And then you will be very thankful that you decided not to go as heavy into the setup you thought was like literally a free money, right? So yeah. Okay, guys, I've been talking for quite a while already, and so allow me to wrap it up right here. Share, like, and subscribe. Don't forget about the investment gateway to this YouTube channel. You can literally be invested in this YouTube channel through Hightech meme coin. Link in the description section below to a tutorial how to get involved. And yeah, I'll probably be live streaming sometime later today. So